Hey guys, gonna do two things today. First on the list is gonna be this engine mount. Second on the list is gonna be removing the brake lines. We'll talk about the engine mount first. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. On the other car, there's the 4, 6, I don't know, 3,000 spot welds on here, and then down here it's legitimately welded in, so I had to cut it all out on the welds and then grind it smooth, which is fine. That's not that big of a deal. And then it was really kind of chopped up and ugly on the face of this piece right here. I think it's full welded on the back too. So I'm going to clear out the electronics there, and then I might just, it might be nice and simple, not have to do any of that work, to just chop it down there to there, and then just make my own plating for it. That would make it nice and smooth and would give me extra room, which, I don't know, I guess I don't need extra room. There's a ton here. I don't know. You know what? It's probably better to just take the mount out itself, look at this front face, probably just chop off the front of it and then put a plate there. That'll be simple. And if I get to that point and I feel like I have to chop the whole thing off, then I can do it. Look at that. Gotta love the stock Mitsubishi cutting. Brake lines. I'll get to those after you watch me, because it's so interesting. No, I think it's fun. I'll do a quick time lapse on that bad boy, because time lapses are fun. So I'll shut up now and you can watch that. Alright, before I get grinding, you gotta check this out. Grinding with an angle grinder is like the entire build. I did a few things with the Sawzall, but it was like all angle grinder. That's what happens when you're kind of a sketchy fabricator. I wouldn't even call myself a fabricator. Anyway, the evolutionary process or whatever of grinding angle grinder stuff. All right. So there you go. Flap disc. That's what it looks like brand new. Awesome. These things work amazing, even to grind metal. Okay? This is what it looks like when it's old and bad. You screwed this one up pretty good. It's too smooth. It doesn't do much. Now, when you're an idiot and you keep using it, that is what it looks like. There's almost no sandpaper on it, and it's like a glove. It's so smooth. So there's that. Standard grinding disc. This is what they look like new. Obviously, a lot of people know that. Almost everybody knows that. This is what they look like after a bunch of use. Getting pretty bad on this one, so I stopped using it. I'll probably still use more. And then this is when I stopped using this one. It's so thin at this point, it's almost like a cutting disc. And obviously, it's itty bitty. So there's that. And then the worst one. Cutting wheels. I've been through over 100. It's ridiculous. Doesn't help when you screw up a bunch of times. You gotta redo it. Cutting disc. Everybody knows what that looks like. 4.5 inch cutting wheel, cutting disc. Went through a billion of these. There's the first step of wear. That's where a lot of people stop using them. Fair enough. Easy one. Acceptable. Next one. This is when it starts to get sketchy. I don't know if you'll be able to notice it, but it's starting to frizz at the end a lot. This is where people get rid of it for sure. This is a pretty common one because that's when it hits the guard on the angle grinder, so then you stop there. But I'm an idiot. There you go. Look at that. I'm almost proud of it because it's so bad. I've got 20 or 30 of these things. I mean, there's like there's no disc left. This is with the guard off, going like straight on sheet metal or something like that that's really thin. And when it can't go through like 20 gauge sheet metal, that's when I get rid of it. Pretty dumb, but it's kind of fun. Like I said, I've gone through like 100 of these. Time to do more. Priorities. So the spot welds, 4 there, 1 on that side, I think just 2 on the top, I think. And look at this one, all in the corner there. That was a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna attempt, oh, and by the way, look, there's welds inside there. So I'm going to, I guess I'm going to have to cut this bottom piece off, or I guess the top, cut that top off so that I can get in there with the grinder. That sucks. I don't know. This camera sucks at focusing. Anyway, there's weld right there. This is going to be a long video for not much work. Well, it's going to take me forever, but at least you get the entertainment of that grinding disc in there. Damn it. Camera battery ran out about a minute before I finished that up. So, I think you actually saw me drilling out. I just had to drill those holes out just a little bit bigger. And then all I did was, I mean, literally you saw those last holes. Then I grabbed pliers, pulled it off, almost that easy. So that's what it looks like. See, it's kind of funky. Looking at it now, I could probably cut it to be even with that. Or maybe have it just flow with this. I don't know. But there's welds in here, and then down there, and all up in there. So that's going to be, won't be too bad now that I can cut the rest of it off. Been working on this over here. Flattened all this out and kind of, made it look better. Still, I have to sand a couple areas there, but filled in all the holes, welded in all the holes, and then took a flap wheel to that, and that turned out pretty nice also. Just put a layer of primer over it, and like I said, I'm going to sand this down, and I got a couple places to sand on that, and then I have I'm going to run sealant, sort of like the factory crap that annoys everybody. I'm going to take that and run it around there, and then paint the whole thing red so it'll get that factory sealant look, and it'll make less work for me for blending it all together, and it'll look nice. So that's what I'm doing next. While that's drying, it's time to tackle the ABS. I'm going to start tackling the fuel next. Going to try and get the Corvette fuel pressure regulator in the same spot as the stock one. So the stock one will just go straight into the fuel pressure regulator, which is also a filter, and then I'll just have a line come up, attach to that part, come over, and then right in to the intake, or to the fuel rail. Should be nice and easy. And then once that's done, I don't know what's next. It's kind of weird not having any crazy fabrication left. Okay, well, time to go to bat. Alright, going to jump ahead a bit here, skip a bunch of stuff. You saw me take the ABS lines and the ABS whatever motor out of there. I also took the charcoal canister and that breather line or whatever it was that was coming around there. Took that part off, took the stock fuel filter out, and then gave all this a good clean, sanded it down, gave it a little bit of red paint. The brace coming off the top of the subframe, that bolts to there and there. I drilled into that and spot welded the nut on there. Still got to finish that up, but that's basically done. And then I took the fuel lines, cut them shorter, bent them up a little bit. They need to be sort of finished up. Flared them a little bit, and then now you can see I modified the stock Corvette bracket, and then I was able to bolt it to the firewall there. And you can see I need like a 3-inch piece of fuel hose on each side here. And then, of course, like I said before, a fuel hose will go like up to right here from the pressure regulator, and then it'll go through that metal line that I'm going to make, and then into the engine. I also caulked off that area and stuff, so that part looks okay. I'm not happy with it. I kind of did a crappy job, so I'll probably go back and redo that. Did a little bit of work on the tunnel too. Needs to be sort of ground down and painted, and then I need to cap those pieces, of course. I ended up widening that right there and there, and yeah, cleaned it all up, so that actually turned out really well. It's hard to tell now, but that looks great. So what I'm going to do next is I will probably, you know what, well, I think I'm just going to slap the engine back in and start it up, get it running.